Hey everybody, today I'm here to tell you about a bunch of books that have come out recently that I think you're going to want to have on your TBR. As always, there are so many amazing books come out, but these ones have hit my shelf and I cannot wait to tell you about them. So let's get started. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you all doing? As always, I hope you guys are safe, hope you guys are healthy, and I hope that your reading has gone very, very well. It has turned cold here in Northern California. Now, I know, as a Northern California, I cannot complain about the cold. Those of you in the Midwest and the Northeast have cooled down at a way that I could never handle in my entire life. However, it is in the 30s and 40s when I get up to walk my dogs. It's 34 in the morning. That is too cold for me. I'm just telling you, it's too cold for me. Not built for it. But that has meant that I have gotten to read some, so I hope you guys have too. As always, I encourage you to get out your pen, your paper, your Goodreads, however you take care of your TBR, because I have a feeling most of these books will wind up on it. There's quite an eclectic stack here, guys. As always, if you can order any of these books from your local independent bookstore, I recommend that you do so. Or if you're a library user, get your library to get you a copy as soon as possible. So let's get started. The first book that I want to tell you about is One Night, Two Souls Went Walking by Cooney. This is out from Coffee House Press. This is the story of an interdisciplinary chaplain, a young woman who works in a hospital, and one night she's doing her rounds with a dog that has appeared that may or may not be a ghost. And it's a discussion regarding as she goes through her rounds and sort of interviews and discusses and meets different people, how all of that winds up coming together. It's sort of a meditation on faith and relationships and life in general. It's a quiet book. I'm about 30 or 40 pages into it, and I'm loving Cooney's writing style. I have not read anything by her before, so I want to say thank you for Coffee House Press getting me this copy. And that's One Night, Two Souls Went Walking by Cooney, out now. It came out on November 10th, so you can get your hands on it from Coffee House Press. Support your local independent presses, guys. They do such amazing work. The next book is by an author that really needs no introduction, Alix Harrow. Her first book, The 10,000 Doors of January, was a huge success. But this is her follow-up, The Once and Future Witches, set in sort of the time, it is actually set in the time of the women's movement to gain the right to vote. It's the story of three sisters who live in Salem who are witches who use their magical powers in order to help the suffragist movement. All of that stuff sounds so much fun, and I think if you are a fan of her first book, you will be a huge fan of this one as well. So that's The Once and Future Witches by Alix Harrow, out now from Redhook Press. One of the books that I definitely want to get to before the end of the year is this chunkster, Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth, out from William Morrow Books. This is the story. I love the back of it. Says it's a combination of The Favorite, which is a movie I absolutely adored, and The Haunting of Hill House. But it is centered around a New England boarding school for girls, and it's about different relationships and things that go on in that, and the haunting of that school, the spirits that come back. It's about the past of the school affecting the present and modern day times. And it is all about relationships. I think there's some queer elements. It's about women's independence. And it's just about like being a free young woman. And yeah, I'm super excited. And I think this cover is absolutely gorgeous and so intricate. So that's Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth. She wrote The Miseducation of Cameron Post, which a lot of people really, really loved. I really, really loved. That one I think was more sort of YA. This one is more meant as an adult read. I think both of them are adult reads, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I highly recommend this book. I think that one is on my list. I've actually started it, just haven't quite gotten through all of it yet. The next book that I want to make sure I tell you guys about is All the Acorns on the Forest Floor by Kim Hooper. This is out from Turner Publishing Company, which I hadn't heard of until my friend Julia talked about this book. Hi, Julia. I hope you're doing well. Lots of love from California. This is the story of a bunch of different sort of interwoven short stories about different women and their relationships as mothers, daughters, lovers, all of that sort of stuff. And I think that it goes into many of the different situations that women find themselves in life, you know, different experiences they have as all of them sort of interchange. I have started this one as well. I really think that Kim Hooper has a very, it's like a comforting voice. I don't know if that exactly makes sense, but she's one of those writers that you just feel like you're in good hands as you read her prose. So that's All the Acorns on the Forest Floor by Kim Hooper out from Turner. You can get this one right now. Okay, this book probably doesn't need any introduction, but amazingly, it seems weird to say that a book by Marilynne Robinson didn't get as much press as I expected it to, but book 4 in her Gilead series came out, and it's Jack. This is the story and life of Jack, who has been a character that has been in all of the books. I have been slowly but surely making my way through the entire Gilead quartet, so I haven't quite gotten to this one yet. I am halfway through Home right now, doing some rereading. So all I know is that a lot of people have really liked this book, and I am a huge Marilynne Robinson stan, so I think that I'm going to really love it. But I'm super excited about it, and I love this cover. I bought the most beautiful editions of the first 3 too. So yeah, super excited about this. Jack is a character that is, once you've read book 1, Gilead, you definitely will never forget him and his importance in the entire series, the entire quartet. So yeah, really looking forward to this one. Jack, Marilynne Robinson. I think Matthew Sharapa is eventually going to put up a review of it. I will watch that because he is sort of my guru when it comes to Marilynne Robinson. So I definitely will be doing that. Okay, another book that is out now is Monogamy by Sue Miller. I am actually halfway through this book. This is the story of a married couple. They've been married for quite some time, I believe, Graham and Annie. They are sort of getting ready for that next change in their life when Graham unexpectedly dies. And Annie finds out that he has been having an affair the entire for a long time, not the entire time, a long time that she wasn't aware of. And in that, then it sort of spawns her to sort of go on an adventure, per se, to find herself and find out about herself and find out about what her relationship really meant and what is she going to take away from what she's learned once her husband has passed away. Sue Miller has a fantastically lyrical way of writing. I really am enjoying sort of the story. And Annie is one of those characters that I don't need sort of the backdrop of the fact that she's been sort of jilted by her husband. I think that's a been here, done that plot. But she as a character is so fascinating and interesting that she holds this book together for me. She's dynamic. She's got such angles, and she's not perfect, but she's got just a way that you really feel and root for her. So that's Monogamy by Sue Miller. This is out from Harper, and you guys can get your hands on it right now. Now I think comes the part of the stack that I've finished all of these books. A book that came out, These Violent Delights by Micah Nemerever. I know in my last video that I talked about this book that I kept saying Nevermore because for some reason Edgar Allan Poe was in my head. So this is Micah Nemerever. And These Violent Delights is another campus story. I think I just talked about a campus story when I talked about The Orchard, which is a book that I absolutely loved. But this is the story of 2 boys who go to high school together. Their relationship is sort of built on this weird sort of codependency, and it takes a dark turn. And sort of they can't seem to survive without each other, but they both create monsters of one another. Does that make sense? It reminded me a lot of that, like a teenage boy version of single white female, if that helps at all in getting you guys wanting to read it. But this does also have queer representation. It is a very complicated and at times really, I don't even know, complicated is the word I'm going to use, relationship between these two boys. One is clearly in love with the other, but the other may just, you know, have a habit of using people. So this is one of those books that I flew through it. It's got a thriller vibe to it, and I really enjoyed it. So that's These Violent Delights by Micah Nemerever, out now from Harper. Okay, and I think that this is one of those books that I and many people was waiting for forever, because we loved this author's first book, and it came out like 10 years ago. And that is Susanna Clarke, and this is Pennesi. She wrote Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norwell, which I haven't read in years, but when I read it, I remember loving it. I flew through it. I watched the miniseries, and it was great too. And I'm hugely a fan of Susanna Clarke. This book is way different, and it is equally as good and so strange. So we're in this building, okay? This building is a bunch of connected hallways that go on forever and ever. It's basically 3 floors. The middle floor is sort of where everything is sort of normal, the land level. The bottom floor is flooding, so there's a lot of water, and there's fish, and there's the ability to catch food. And then the top level has sort of the sky, the birds, the clouds in it. Our main character, who is called Pennesi by a man, the only other human he thinks exists in real time, has sort of called him Pennesi, and he lives there. And his job in his mind is just to explore this world he lives in, which he has an utter and complete fascination with. And as it goes on, we learn that there's a lot of history about this world. We learn how people get into this world. We learn where our main character came from and sort of the duplicity that got him there. And other people start to show up, and it changes the dynamic of everything. This book, it reminded me, I don't know, this is weird to say, so hopefully you guys, it reminded me weirdly of like a Borges short story. I don't know why, but in the same time, it's so complicated and interesting and weird. And at the end of it, I was just like, what the heck? Loved it. Loved it. So that's Pennesi by Susanna Clarke. This is out now. You can get your hands on it as we speak. Last but not least in this stack of books is an utterly charming graphic memoir, The Times I Knew I Was Gay by Cruz. And this is out from Scribner. And it is exactly what the title says in all that charm. It's about a young woman who's coming to terms with her sexuality and the amount of times that gay people sort of come out and then go back in the closet because they're not quite ready to fully live their life as a gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, person. They're sort of one of, you know, you come out, test the waters, and you go back. And it's about her relationship with different peoples as she tries to sort of come to terms with who that is. And then when she finally does come out of the closet, what does that mean for her and her family? The artwork is utterly charming. It's got sort of a, I hope that sort of gives you an idea. It's got sort of like a certain vibe to it that just feels very real. Yeah, it just really made, it was warm. It was perfect. It wasn't complicated, but it was lovely. And so that's The Times I Knew I Was Gay by Cruz, out from Scribner Books as we speak. So that is quite a stack of books. Hopefully I was able to entice you to pick up 1, 2, or all of them. And as always, if you are a return subscriber, thank you so much. I could not do this without you. I really appreciate it. As always, if you are a new subscriber, please come back. Please hit that button. I would love to talk to you about books. As always, I encourage you to read globally, shop locally, and until next time, I wish you happy reading. Bye!